Gotta have a canvas covered here. We're not quite done yet, and then we'll build canvas curtains.
And down here, then the upholstery.
And the upholstery's next. Yep, we're working on that right now.
Oh,
It's been 3.5 years, Larry.
Yeah, but it's been 3.5 years since it started with this.
We started.
I like this spring.
The leather, yeah, that's how they all were. So when we started with this, I bought the body from a fella in Cody, Wyoming named Rawhide Johnson. And Rawhide Johnson's known around the country for being an authority on the Yellowstone coach, like they use in Yellowstone Park. You could go to Yellowstone and you could take a camping deal for a week. So I was out there looking at his collection of stuff, and he had this body, just the red part, just the body, and I wound up buying it, even though there was no undercarriage. So
You did everything.
everything. So Randall Miller, my partner in crime on this, and Dave over there. Dave found the axles, and another guy found some hubs, some wheels, and had a blueprint with no measurements, and
Went from
it
there.
went from there. And in January this year, I went to Montana to Anvil Wagon Works, the Jim Bluer's shop, and he gave me a class in wheel building, and I built the wheels in January.
You built the wheels.
From the hub out, everything from the hub out.
Wow.
So I've been doing this. I've been messing with this stuff since I was 11, and I'm 54 now. So I've been around it a long time and known Dave since I was about 17, I guess. And but I'm just fanatical. Everything about it has to be right, or it doesn't get done.
Wow.
There's 10 bolts in this thing that are Chinese made, and it just drives me crazy. I'm gonna have to find the right. So I've gone to farm sales. I've gone picking out of barns. I've gone to old hardware stores. I've found all the all the hardware from these.
Have you got a mechanical drawing of the bolt you want?
No, not really. I just know what it looks like.
Because
Man.
Can you make one?
I know somebody that can.
Yeah. And I'll find it. I'll find the stuff.
My cousin is a machinist,
Okay.
and he's pretty good at this stuff.
Well, I'll just show you. Let me just get a couple of bolts and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Baskets a Wagon for.
Yes, I can see that.
I've
on this.
been 100% of the thing. It ain't
so-
gonna be there.
So in the old days, a carriage bolt, they were black. But in the old days, they had a real sharp edge to them, and they had no markings on the tops. And you can see it's not even exactly round. And so a modern Chinese bolt, because they're all made in China, have some sort of markings on them, and the edges are smooth. So when you pull these down in the wood, they go down in the wood, where this sits on the wood. So, this bolt was probably made in the 1940s or 50s, probably somewhere before, after World War II or before. Could have been before, don't know exactly. But all the new ones are chrome plated. So you can clean that off, you can grind that off on the grinder, but it's still going to be there.
Yeah, you'll know it.
And even if you cover it up with paint, it's still going to be there.
So what do you want more of? You want one like this here, then?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you need this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And is this the exact thing you want duplicated?
Well, not the same size exactly, but yeah.
You're looking for.
And I'll find some. I've got some here. I got some in a box over here.
I've seen a lot.
I don't know how many pieces are in that, how many bolts are in that coach, but I've had my hand on every one of them. Some things we've even made. We've even made some bolts. So this is a mid 1880s MP Henderson stagecoach. MP Henderson they were out of Stockton, California. It's considered a mud wagon or mud coach. They made them and they used them all over the country.
Hey, criminy. Riding back there would be bad, but riding up there would be worse.
Well, and so you mentioned earlier the springs. Well, these are called thorough braces. The leather's called thorough brace, and they ride more like a ship. than a wagon. So if you're riding in a wagon with the spring seat, you're riding up and down. So this you're riding.
You're rocking.
You're rocking, and that's why they're built that way. I don't know. That was invented years ago.
Yeah, look at all the stuff under here, just part of the suspension and all.
Yeah,
And you know they got used hard.
a lot. Yeah, and see there's all the brakes are back there at the wheels.
Now, where's your brake
Right in
at?
front of you.
Oh, here. Whoops. Yeah, here we
Right in
are.
front of you there.
Yeah.
And so the driver sat in the seat with his foot out here on a coach because you're holding it just about all the time.
Yep.
With 4 horses out there, you've got to be quick on the brake
You don't want to run over the horses.
because it could easily run into them, and it's just what it is.
Did they ever need any kind of a pad on this, or was it just the wood? That was
Just
it.
wood.
That was the
Just like
that was the
Now you'll
pad.
see some stuff later where guys will put a tire on them. Got one over here. Got Dave's granddad's wagon that has a shoe on it. The sole of his shoes. So they wear them out, and then the farmer's way of fixing them is just fine pieces of leather.
I remember when I was a kid, they used leather for hinges.
Yeah.
The old doors.
Yeah.
And they didn't throw nothing away.
No, they didn't throw it out. They didn't throw
It was,
anything away.
it was used.
So the thing about my collection is that
Well, come on ahead. Show me
I know-
some of
I
this.
know
Oh, it's this one here.
The history of where all of them came from. I know the brands. Most of what I have, I'm second or third owner, which is really remarkable when you
Yeah.
think of the age of this.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, how old is it?
This is mid 1880s, 1884, 1885. It
And you said the name of the manufacturer?
is MP Henderson's written right on the back.
And where did they make those at?
Stockton, California.
In stock. That's right. You said that. That's right. Okay.
So once we got in, we got the running gear built, and then once we got into the body, working on it, it looked pretty good, but it needed a little bit of attention. And all these right here, these are bows. You can see how they're rounded in the top. So those are all steam bent. Well, every one of them on this side was broken. So it had been wrecked. They wrecked them all the time. They rolled these over all the time. They're high center of gravity. So Randall Miller and Randall devised the steam box and the jigs and all that, everything from
Oh,
here up
this
is
here.
new.
Yeah, you can see the wood's bent there in the
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah. All that from the seats up is new.
Okay.
And we both top too.
And the top, and yeah, we steamed all that steam.
And they carried the mail. That was one of their big.
That was their number one thing, was the mail.
the mail. And
Carrying the people was extra. So then, this one in the front, this is 1907, it's dated. Peter Shuttler, which was a company out of Chicago.
That's this one over here.
Yeah, and that was bought new by Dave's grandpa.
Bought new.
Peter Shuttler
Shuttler.
out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Did they have any kind of a label on it, or?
No, but I know this because of the style and the different things.
Sure,
they
you
had
know
to
that's
put
what it
on
is.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody had their own seat style.
So now, did the drivers? They like this better? This spring system here better than this rocking thing they
That's
had here?
what that's all they had. I mean, this is what the farmers had. This is a pickup.
Yeah, but did they like this better?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't heard much about that.
No comment.
They're all rough. I can tell you that. This wagon was sold new in 1900 in Carthage, Missouri, and it's a Springfield, out of Springfield, Missouri. And
Still pretty nice, really.
my uncle's granddad bought it new in 1900. His name was Ernest Potter, and his father was a Civil War veteran.
This kind of like a station wagon.
This is now the seats. Everybody says that. So the seats all come off.
Oh, yeah.
So all of them interchanged wagon to wagon because the wagons all had a 38-inch box by 10.5 foot long, which hauled 50 bushels of corn.
Oh, boy.
So put the seats on, boy. We're going to church.
Yeah, you can take this.
Or you take them
you
off.
can take this off.
Gonna haul grain today. Whatever it is we're doing today, that's how we set it up.
That's how they. That's how they set them up.
That's good.
So that Springfield seat, that's a Springfield seat, and that's Peter Shuttler's seat. So they all have their own style of seats, which would give you an idea what they were.
Now this seems to have some sort of a pad on it here.
Yep.
This just wood, isn't
Just
it?
wood.
Just wood.
Yeah.
There used to be an old couple that lived down the road from me. They was old. And every Saturday, the old man would go out and he'd hook up the team, and him and the wife would go in the weir for shopping. And it was something like this.
Yeah.
And that every Saturday.
That's how they went to town.
Yep.
4 miles an hour. That's all it does. We drove yesterday. We hooked some yesterday, and had some people out here yesterday, and a bunch of little kids, and we were just going. They just loved it. We were just going.
I can imagine.
So now you keep horses here, then you run these wagons
Yep.
for things. I see you have some horses out here, and
Yeah, we run the wagons.
and you have an exercise ring out there, and
So, this wagon was sold new in 1903 in Kansas City, and a man named Jonas Weaver bought it new in 1903 in Kansas City, and they drove it. They had 2 of them. They drove them home from Kansas City down here in this country.
okay.
So this is a Milburn wagon from Toledo, Ohio, but I've rigged it up as a chuck wagon, and the inventor of the chuck wagon was a cousin of mine, Charles Goodknight. And if you ever watched the movie Lonesome Dove, that was all kind of based on him.
They're playing Lonesome Dove right now on Grit
Playing on
this
Grit,
week.
yeah.
This week.
What is this?
So the chuck wagon has the box in the back, right? Well, this is to put your coffee beans in.
I'll be
This is
darned.
that's what that is on the ground. I let all the kids yesterday.
Okay.
That's coffee.
It comes out right here.
Yeah.
I'll be darned. And this is a chuck wagon.
This is a chuck wagon.
Uh-huh.
So
Was this the same one you had out at that party I was at? You had a party out here last year? Or was it 2 years?
maybe 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been.
And you made
So in the old
peach
days,
cobbler?
in the old days, everybody would have had Arbuckle's coffee. That's what everybody drank. That was coffee.
Wow.
Okay.
So, give you a little demo. Nobody knows how this is done.
Mine when it's open.
I'll be using this for quick. This I make my own coffee.
Oh, really? You
Generally
you-
speaking, this is what I do. Everybody gives me a hard time because I'm so old timey thinking, but that's what I do.
My grandmother used to grind her own coffee.
Well, this is the way to do it when you're on the road.
Yep. She used to do it in her pantry.
So you don't want to waste good coffee.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's what you get.
That's
Smell
good.
that? Does that smell fresh?
Oh boy, smell that.
I love it. I love it.
Dad,
And now, when they made cowboy coffee, they just put it in water, didn't they? And then they strain it, or what?
They didn't strain it, no.
They just left the coffee in the
About
bottom.
that big or a bigger one. I usually use that. That actually is the size of a typical coffee pot you use today on your coffee maker. That holds the same amount of water. You wouldn't think so, but it does. And when it's done boiling, you're supposed to put a raw egg in it, and that's supposed to take the grounds to the bottom.
no. I'll tell you what, my grandmother, she took the shortcut and she used to put eggshells in.
Eggshells. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah. So this is all set up. This is set up to go on the trail. You have the right 3-tined forks.
Uh-huh.
All the right old style knives. We've got
All right.
just got about everything in here that's rigged up like it's supposed to
You know George Vanderpool?
be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know him well.
He used to.
Well, he got me he helped me really get my horses going.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
He's a
He went with us several times when he got one. When I met him, he didn't have one of these, and then he got one and he went.
Well, him and a group. Well, I think they
Yep.
went out to Council Groves. You know, I mean, they was. But he did it. I worked with George at the college.
Okay. Yeah.
Real neat guy. He's a painter.
Yep. You got to have a place for your vegetables. That's how you cook. Right?
I'll be darned. That was one of those things laying around the house for years, and I never did know
That's
what
what
it
it's
was.
for.
I'll be.
You got a tripod you set up to hang that on over the fire.
Yep. And all that hangs on the side of the wagon here.
Oh, those poles.
The poles are for the fly that goes over the back of the wagon when you're camped.
Oh.
Yeah, the tripod piece would be right here.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
These pieces right here.
You did all this iron work on this detail.
Randall Miller did the ironwork. He built that whole tripod.
And you say you support some sort of a tarp over the top of the whole thing with these?
You take this and you put a tarp over the back when you're camped out, and the cook has to have somewhere to stand.
Oh, inside, indoors.
Yeah, so he's standing out back, but he's got a cover over.
Got a porch.
Got a porch.
That's a great piece.
Yeah, they're traditionally when you're moving across the country, there'd be a cover over it.
Is this buffalo?
That is not.
My-
That is probably a horsehide.
My wife's grandmother had a buffalo one, and it hung out in their barn, and they gave it away. But I remember that big thing hanging out there.
These are lap robes. So when they rode in the coach
Yep.
or in a buggy in the wintertime, they had to have a lap robe. This one's kind of funny because it's got a dog. Look, it's got eyes in it. Yeah, that is, and so is the hair one. That's what this one is as well.
I'll be darned.
So those are both lap robes.
A lot of history. You don't even think about it.
No, you had to keep warm. So
I think I'd want something for those wooden seats.
So this one, this is a Weber. They called it a Weber brand, but it was owned by International Harvester. Built new about 1915. I got it from Dave out of one of his buildings, and when we started, it was completely gone, rotted away. It just had some metal.
Wow.
And
You did a lot of work on that.
that was owned by the owner of the general store in Nashville originally, up in Nashville, Missouri. So when my wife was diagnosed with cancer 3 years ago, she wanted a wagon of her own. So we rebuilt this from the ground up. And then when she did pass, we took her to the cemetery in it.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
darned. That was.
Yeah.
Patrick, tell him why it was the one horse wagon.
See how it's set up for one horse. So it's a delivery wagon or a market wagon. All the guys that own general stores, they would have had these so they could go to the nearest railroad to pick up supplies, or they could deliver out in the country.
sure.
But a one-horse wagon like this typically would have been considered an Indian wagon because that's the size that the government had issued to the Indians. They had to issue the Indians a wagon and a mule or a wagon and a horse.
Remember my mother talking about there'd be a guy come through the neighborhood and he'd be selling, well, they'd bring ice and they'd also bring anything, groceries, you name it.
This is what they would bring. This is what they
Something
use.
just like this.
Yeah.
Now the front one, no, you can take all of these seats out, even the front
You
one.
can take all the seats out. Seats come out.
Okay.
So this one was built about 1915. No earlier than that, and they quit building them about 1920.
Yeah. That's a real handy one,
It's
actually.
very handy. We've got springs on it, so it's got some movement. So this particular example over here is the Springfield from Springfield, Missouri. And it was built in 1915, 1916. And this would be considered an Indian wagon as well. Probably more even than this one. But this has been repainted. I took it to South Dakota and had it repainted at Hanson's Wagon Works, Wagon Shop, and they repainted it and striped it just like it would have been when it was new in 1915.
So it was a number of years when there were both cars and wagons on the road, horses and and cars.
Most wagon companies were out of business by the mid 1920s. Springfield Company out of Springfield, Missouri, they were in business until 1942. 1942, they sold out to the Fulbright Lumber Company of Fayetteville, Arkansas, and they moved to Fayetteville and they built wagons in Arkansas for 10 years. Well, that's what this one is. This is an Arkansas-made Springfield wagon from the 1940s. They were still making them because, now we have a conflict, we just print more money. But back then, they didn't have more money to print. So you had to get a voucher to get tires, you had to get a voucher to get a wagon, you had to get a voucher to get a pickup. So they were still making these because the farmers were still using these because that's the only choice they had up until the early 50s.
But you see now, these wheels on this one here, the wagon itself and the wheels are all a little lighter weight. This would be like your F-150. This would be your 250 or your 350. This would look like it's a heavier built, heavier axle, heavier wheels, heavier cargo.
If you look at it, how the wheels are shorter on the later wagons like this one, they had better roads. The taller the wheel, the earlier typically because the roads weren't very good.
Smoother the ride.
So you had bigger wheels and you hit bumps, you'd get over quicker. And you wouldn't feel it as much.
I see.
How long have you been doing this?
For 43 years.
43 years.
And I'm 54. So I was just a kid.
Oh, yeah,
I was a kid.
a lot of information.
This one really does look stout.
Yeah, it's very stout. That's probably their Ozark farm truck model, is what that probably was.
And then I see you have a nice collection of saddles.
Well, yeah, those are my daughter's and my wife's barrel saddles.
Oh, those are barrel saddles, huh?
Yeah.
And what's special about a barrel saddle as opposed to another kind of riding
lighter
saddle?
weight, and they've got this type of horn, taller horn that the girls hold on.
Oh, they really use that horn a lot. Yeah.
Well, I like your outfit. It kind of goes with
Thank
what
you.
you do. That
Yeah.
really looks,
Thank
it
you.
looks authentic.
Well, everything about this place and everything about all the collection is very authentic. This is probably the newest made piece that I own, and it's probably no more than 15 years old. And it's Amish made, but when you give a lot of people rides, it's very comfortable. It actually has hydraulic brakes on it.
In rubber tires.
And rubber on the steel tires, and it also has signals. You got turn signals. Can you hear the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got a battery somewhere.
And it's also got headlights.
LED. I spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania, and this is the way.
That's
the way they live.
the way they travel.
And the courting buggies and the family buggy. I was there long enough. I got to know, shoe fly pie and all that stuff that went with it.
Well, that's why my collection's a little different than most, because my collection is all real authentic. But this is really great when you're hauling people around.
Yep. This is a more reproduction,
It's more of a reproduction.
but it's
Hydraulic brakes, you got a brake drums in the back here.
Yeah.
Just
so
like
it's got a
regular-
brake pedal right here.
Yeah, you got a brake pedal, you got the hydraulic lines, and you got
you
look
got
at there, you had
license on the
drums
back.
on there. And you got, that's right.
and you've got this to use, but
Yeah.
you got 1870s back.
Yeah, the earliest stuff in here really is the coach from the 1880s, middle 1880s. Most everything here is right at the turn of the century.
I can't really see this very good because of the way the sun comes in.
much
Could
sun.
you turn on those lights again? See if I can see those lights there.
Turn signals.
I can push it in the barn a little bit here. Well,
No, the lights are not coming on.
yeah, here. Let me roll it in here.
Downhill.
Yeah. Just
Well-
steer it underneath there behind you. Just
Okay.
let it slide under there and it'll go. Just drop it down.
Down there, huh?
Yeah, these lights aren't coming on though.
There they are. Oh, those lights. Yeah, there you go.
There. Oh, okay, good. Now I feel better. Oh, I see. Oh, you've got an extra step here to get you up. This lower one
Yep.
starts you off and hold on to something and. All right.
The middle's easiest to get in because you have the big step.
Yeah, and you just hold on to whatever you can.
This little one, would this be a cording buggy?
No, that's kind of a butt board.
Okay, but
It's kind of a butt board. Stop way.
well, you know, they got a lot of tradition, a lot of, man, I learned it all.
So that's just for traveling. That don't carry very much.
No, that's just for traveling.
That's
But it's
the
one
dog.
horse.
That's like the.
You put a pony on it. It's kind of beat up. It needs some
TL6.
tender loving care. Now this one over here across the yard, that is a Studebaker. A lot of people don't realize that Studebaker, like a lot of car companies, were in the wagon business, wagon and carriage business first.
How come it has to be outside?
Just where it happens to sit. That is where it happens to
I was
sit.
gonna say, you're building another building?
Build another building to put more wagons in. Just have it like that.
Yeah, you got another 40 years.
Yeah, I got plenty of time.
Do you still use this board for horses at all?
Pardon me?
Do you use this for horses at all? This
Yeah.
barn here?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I see it's set up for
Yeah,
horses,
it's set up
but
for horses. We put them in there.
it's kind of hard right now with all the wagons sitting there.
What kind of horse?
This is a Frisian. He's a stud horse.
You got big feet.
Got big feet.
Be kind of a draft horse, is he?
He is. He's a small, kind of a small draft horse.
An off-covered Clydesdale.
Yeah, and a Frisian is a French draft horse.
If you're looking for something to eat.
Yeah, he's probably wanting some mares to breed, but he's not going to do that till the spring.
But we won't tell him.
He probably. So this is the Studebaker mountain wagon. This is what they would have used in the West, in mining towns. They would use this between the railroads and the mines. Got what's called a California rack bed. So it's got these stakes. So when they put all the supplies in, they could tie around these stakes and hold the supplies in when they're going up the rough mountain.
Those are your tie downs.
Those are your tie downs. And the seat was on a solid frame here, so you wouldn't bounce out of the seat. Because the other seats that are loose, they'll bounce you right out.
And what year was this made, you think?
Turn of the century.
Yeah. And this is Studebaker. And where were they making wagons
In
at?
Indiana.
In Indiana.
And how this had a lever to put the brakes on?
Yes. Yep.
There's some pretty big wheels.
So this is for putting your foot on. Remember me talking about it on the stagecoach?
Yep.
You got to have that, put your foot on, because you have to have both hands on the lines when you're driving up and down the mountain.
You want to see, slow it down.
So this wagon is set up for 4 horses.
You didn't want to pass a horse's basics.
No. So this, if you look at these right here, a chain would go through there, and then the chain would come out here and put your next set of double trees on the front. These are called your double trees, or your evener and your single trees. So you'd have 4 horses on this dude when you're going up the mountain.
There's a lot more to know than you really think about.
Well, if you look at the hardware we put together under here,
Yeah, I was looking at that.
so all that is to hook up a second wagon.
Oh my.
This is to hook a second wagon on the back.
And that's like that just to make it solid so it doesn't.
Yeah, so you're pulling against the axle.
Uh-huh.
So everything's made pull
Wow.
against axles.
You know what this brings to mind for me? The old television show, 20 Mule Team Bull Riders. They got
That is right.
You know, I mean, they had a bunch
Yeah.
of horses. I mean,
Yeah.
this is really interesting. This is a great hobby.
Yeah, I guess it.
Bit more of a hobby.
I guess you want to call it a
Well,
hobby. I guess.
I'll tell you what, the difference, is you making money or does it cost you money?
I don't know. I won't say.
Well, if it's cost you, it's a hobby.
Well, do you have
It's an avocation. This is my avocation.
There
Do you have an actual
I
job?
have an actual occupation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I work in town, but I don't play golf and I don't watch sports. And this is what I do.
You got a nice home up on the hill.
Thank you. Everything kind of has an authentic.
Yeah, it does.
It's all supposed to be authentic. I was thinking the big horses were up, and I don't think they are. They're not.
Yeah, you got
They're but the horses I drive are big. They're great big.
it. And you take them to parades and stuff? Or you
No,
just-
I don't do parades. I'm not really into parades.
I don't blame you.
I might do one once in a while.
Special occasion.
Well, I think the last parade I might have done might have been in Weir, and that was 25 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Well, I've probably seen it. I was probably in it with you.
Right, you probably were.
Probably
But really
cured
what
you.
I like to do, and I think of myself more of a living historian, I like living history events and reenactments, and it's been quite a few years now, but used to be several times a year we would start from here and we'd have 5 to 10 wagons, and guys would bring their wagons and teams here, men and women would bring their wagons and teams here, and then we would travel across the country, and 25 miles is a day.
Oh yeah.
And it's almost 25 miles to Prairie State Park, which is north of here.
Really?
And that takes all day. And then we'd camp out a couple nights. They just had their Prairie Days deal last week, and we used to do that. But it's
didn't
just
they
so
all-
much work, and a lot of the guys that were going, they've all gotten to the age where they can't participate anymore, or they just quit.
I notice your wind things up there are starting to look like the rocks off the coast of California. All that
Yeah.
bird shit on it.
Yeah, there's lots of it.
Hey,
Yeah,
look,
this barn we found an original cupola. The man in Jasper, they gave that to me. So that's more authentic. I mean, it's kind of nutty, but you know, I like square-headed nuts and slot-head screws, but you don't get anymore.
Do they do any of down the old Fort Trail? Did they do any rides down through that? From Fort Scott to down?
Not that way I found, not that I've heard of. Yeah. Well, see, the two main towns in the area up until the turn of the century were Fort Scott and Carthage. The train came to Fort Scott, the train came to Carthage, but there wasn't anything in between. And Joplin wasn't even really thought of a whole lot till right at the turn of the century.
well, they still have those wagon rides where they bring those teenagers through,
Yeah.
troubled teenagers or whatever. They
Yeah.
take these kids and take them on a wagon ride across the country.
Yeah.
And they go quite a ways.
We go quite a ways. Yeah. I most we've ever done in 2 or 3 days, is 50 miles. We've gone from Liberal to Fort Scott. We took 2 days going there once. Stayed at Cato. You know where Cato is?
Yeah.
Yeah, we stayed at Cato one night.
And Cato Schoolhouse
Yeah.
and all that stuff right there.
Yeah, we camped out there by the schoolhouse. So it's probably time to do another reenactment. We just haven't done one. People have been sick, or people have gotten old or aged, or people's family members have been sick, and so we just haven't done it.
Well, that old comes because, the old bones are brittle. And
It's
bouncing them up and
I
down
mean,
on that.
like I said, I'm 54, and I've been doing those kind of trips since I was in my early 30s, and the older you get, the harder it is on you.
I like your Surrey with the fringe on top.
Yeah, we can go over there and
Yeah,
talk
let's
about
let's
that.
go ahead.
That was different than the one in the barn.
You got a canoe too, so hell, you go all the way. You're
We can go down the river. We can put that in.
Well, tell me about this one here then.
So this is the Springfield.
It's a good night.
But it's set up with a flatbed for hauling hay. It's a hay wagon. I'm the second or third owner of that one.
Well, it's got a good home.
We put young horses on it a lot because they can't really run off with it.
It looks heavy.
Very heavy. We got a 2x6 floor in it. It's set up in the back. So at lunchtime, you unhitch the team and tie them up, and you could feed them out of the back there.
Oh, okay.
So, or you could put your chainsaw in the back.
But originally, that's for feeding the horses out of that.
Feeding the horses, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's got the steel wheels.
It's got the steel wheels now. This wagon originally would have had wooden wheels.
Don't be darned. Well, yeah, all this stuff under there.
Yeah, it's the same. They're all the same. So the steel wheels came about in the 1880s, They really got popular after the turn of the century because there was fewer and fewer wheelwrights.
This is original, the steel, or is that?
Hey, that's
That's
something you would have bought at a hardware store too.
Okay.
So it's kind of handy to have it on one that sits outside because it's not really going to go away.
All right.
Yeah, use this. Use that a lot.
Canoe ride.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So this, everybody calls these Surreys with fringe on top, but that's a misnomer. That's not a Surrey.
No, Surrey only carries 2 people or
No,
something.
a Surrey would carry as many people as this, but and not to get political at all, but this is a Democrat.
Okay.
This is a Democrat wagon, is what that is called. And I suppose they called it a Democrat wagon because the Democrat it's a common man's Surrey.
Okay.
That's what it really is, but it's a Democrat wagon.
It's not real fancy, in other words.
It's not real fancy. That's a Studebaker, and I got it from George Vanderpool, who got it from over around Weir.
I'll be
And then
darned.
it was rotted away, and we rebuilt it.
I wonder if that might not have been the one I was seeing go by.
Didn't Ned Naylor used to have something like this?
I don't know. So that's the equipment off the back.
And these, I remember.
You ridden one of those?
Yeah. My
It
grandmother had a.
It takes 8 hours to plant 7 acres.
Oh, you're eating a lot of dust.
Yeah. Got to have plenty of horsepower.
And then this one over here,
It's a 3-seat.
3
It's
seated.
another Studebaker, 3-seat Democrat wagon.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. This one went through a little wreck about a year and a half ago.
Oh yeah.
And the
what do you
horses,
call
one of the horses threw a bridle off, and they got in a little runaway, and I rode it all the way out.
Really? You came out without any scare?
Well, yeah, I didn't have anything broken.
that's
I was
always
pretty
a
sore
good-
for 6 or 8 weeks.
It's always a good day.
I came out the front and laid on its side.
So you really made it authentic.
It was authentic. I was just about banned from driving a horse.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't,
I remember seeing these. Make the barn hot.
So this is another Peter Shuttler, and you can see where it says Peter right there. See that?
oh yeah. Peter
This came
Shuttler.
out of a barn over by West Mineral.
That man knew that old man. I couldn't think his name.
Yeah.
West.
Jerry. Jerry. Yep.
You're halfway there.
That was the old market farm, northwest of West Mineral.
Did you ever prowl through that?
That's where I got it. I got it out of the barn.
I tell you what. Well, God, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Market Crooked.
Yeah.
You know, over
Lots.
Carson.
It looks like we got one more over here.
Yeah. That's another Weber International. Now this Peter Shuttler wagon here is kind of unique because of the age of it. This is from the 1880s. This is the oldest original piece that I have. It's really more original than the coach. It's probably the next project.
Hey, you're getting a lot of years.
I got some, yeah. My great grandmother was born in 1886. 83. This was made in 86.
Man.
So there's another piece in here that has some real cool history to it. So you can't really tell it. You stay right where you're at, Dave. You can't really tell it. See these old pieces right here?
Sure.
Right in.
Well, that's a Peter Shuttler wagon.
That's what it's going to look like these when you're done with it.
That is not going to be. You won't paint them. You don't want to paint them
No.
necessarily. But this Peter Shuttler wagon was buried 2 inches in the ground in western Montana, and we dug it out. A friend of mine and I, we dug it out 3 years ago out of the ground. There's no moisture out there. This one's just as old as this one sitting out front. This one's 1886, 1887. There's only about 10 known marked Peter Shuttler wagons from pre-1900, and I've got 2 of them.
And the wheels, is there a certain set of wheels that goes with
I'll
it?
show you this wheels. This right here,
Here comes the hub.
that is what was left of the wheels.
I'll be damned. You know, I played with it as a kid. I didn't know what it was.
That was what was left of the wheels off this wagon. And if you look back here, there's the new set of wheels.
That's the new ones.
Those are new ones to go to this.
And you made
I
those
did not.
You didn't make those.
I did not.
You want me to do it?
No.
I'll be darned.
Jim Bluer in Montana made them.
I'll be darned. That's
Here's
better yet.
parts of the original wheels.
My,
There's the spoke. There's the rim.
you got stuff everywhere.
And the coolest wagon right here, this is out of Dave's collection. It's a Fort Smith wagon. Dave repainted it and restored it when 1990.
Yeah.
John Deere.
John Deere bought out Fort Smith Wagon Company in about 1915.
I said, man, this.
Then I got the various harness and all the trappings. Didn't take much to get going.
Just back the horse in and hook him on.
We roll it out, hook them up.
There's some sideboards for one of them.
Yep.
Well, what's the dog's name? He's got my job.
That's Dixie.
Dixie, move over.
That's Dixie.
Well, Patrick, you gotta take them in your other shop.
Yeah, you'll have to talk about that. Keith,
Oh yeah, look at that.
we go riding around with Ronald McDonald, but I don't think.
That's a big one. That's a big old bellows.
That came from a shop east of Jasper. I mean, all this stuff that I've got, I kind of have some connection with. I mean, I've known the people that had it,
Yeah.
collected it before me, or I've gone to their farm sales, or I've gone to their places specifically knowing they had some things. And
Oh, it helps to know where it came from.
I was so much younger than most of these guys that had it, they all were interested in talking to me about it.
Well, you got something to be proud of. I
So-
mean, across the U.S., there can't be a whole lot more like you.
So, my other trade, if you want to call it, I'm also a saddle maker.
You do.
So I'm a leather guy too.
Oh, gee.
So we better tour.
Take a look. Take a look.
The dog. I like the dog. Walk around. Goodknight Saddle Shop.
Now, is that your sign, or did you
That's
get
my
that sign?
sign.
That's you. That's your
me.
sign. Okay.
Holy moly, look in here, Dave. Jeez.
Smells like leather.
So I do this work too.
Wow. You ain't Goodknight.
Yeah, that is me.
That is you. You do sheaths.
I do sheaths. I made all this on the walls over here. All that hanging there.
Where would this go? On something that you've made? Or
That is. These are.
trademarks or something.
These are going to be shaving kits. Leather shaving kits. You look at the designs on the front. Go together like that. They'll have a piece in the middle with the zipper.
Ditty bag.
Yeah. Ours is made out of canvas.
Oh, look at that there.
Well, hold on. Look at all the designs.
They're all different.
Yeah, they're all different. Look, this and this.
Would you hand tool these?
Well, the middle pieces. Did either of you know Melvin Rupert from Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Heck yeah, he was in the refrigerator. When I went.
You worked at Pitt State, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I was in the refrigeration shop for
Yeah.
a while.
Well,
yeah, he did all.
He found these dies in a trove of stuff he bought in Kansas City. He bought out a shoe shop, and he said we got home and we didn't realize we had anything. Well, these are the dies from Shipley's Saddlery out of Kansas City, which was a big saddle maker
yeah,
from the
I've heard
1880s.
Shipley's. I've heard that.
From the 1880s to the 1970s, these were their dies. This would have been in the seat of a saddle.
Okay.
So I use these. I've got his dies, and I'll show those to you. But if you look at this rifle sling that I made,
And a rifle looks pretty interesting too.
so see the buffalo there. See the snakes. There's a snake here and a snake here. The buffalo's jumping.
And the name of that saddle, that company?
Shipley's.
Shipley's in
out of
Kansas City.
is that a Winchester?
There's another,
evidently?
yeah, it's 95.
4570?
No, it's a 30-40 craft.
3040. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
But that was, I've got a picture in the catalog I can show you here in a minute. In a reprint of Shipley's catalog with this
On it, huh?
on this. And I made this.
Wow.
But I was using these because I knew that's what they used them in those.
What would one of these cost if you handmade this?
If you wanted to buy this rifle scabbard today, it'd be $400.
You know, considering the hours and
No, that's not bad.
That's not
All
bad.
this is hand stamped.
Yeah, that's-
All this is all hand worked.
Let me see that other side there. What's that other? That's,
It's just
a
another
flower,
die,
yeah.
different die, and more
And
of a
what's
flower.
this here?
This is my maker stamp.
That's yours.
Yeah, well, it's kind of got hit twice, so it's like you can
Got a
see
double imprint, huh?
Now that'd take $20 off it.
it. Yeah.
And this, being in this, it doesn't affect your bluing or anything on the gun.
Doesn't affect it. Nope.
Oh, let's see here. Oh, see here? He's got a stamp on this one here.
And
All right.
here's another. Here's a different one.
Oh, no, got several.
Goodknight saddles.
So, here we go. We'll show you how this
And here's
looks
another
like.
one.
Before.
And this is a different one too.
This is random.
Try to keep those in order.
Huh.
Let's see, I'll show you.
I'll put it right back. Right
Okay. Okay. So you see this? Can you see that?
That's the die.
That is the die.
What? How much pressure does it take to make this?
I've got a press there behind you.
You just start cranking.
And I just start cranking. That's what Melvin told me to do, and that's what I did.
You know, he did all the work for the Clydesdales, the metal work.
Yeah.
He had guys in the refrigeration shop pulsing that brass.
Yeah. Well, and he was he had sole rights to make stuff for Anheuser-Busch. He could use any of their symbols, anything.
Oh, he was a BSer.
He was-
him and Johnny Marietta. When you got those,
No, I didn't know him, but he talked about him. I didn't know him.
You should have.
Yeah, I wanted to, and I just never did get to know him. But
He was an ex-circus guy.
Melvin did quite a bit for me by finding these, really.
Oh, I'll bet.
So these little cases, these sell for $400 as well.
Just eat. Oh, the case.
Yeah, when they're done. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of handwork in there.
Yeah, all of this.
Yeah.
These are all hand cut diamonds, and then these are all hand stamped.
Oh, Jesus.
See, this is all hand cut along the edge, and that's all hand stamped.
That's why the vessels is standing up in your hand.
Yeah.
Look at your hands, though, compared. You know, I mean, that is hard. You don't have any arthritis yet.
Not yet.
Put that back for you.
I'll do some. If you want a little. Want me to give you a demo? I'll give you a little demo.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's see.
And you do hats too?
No, that's just for fun.
He does loading. Got his loader here.
That's a steamer.
Oh, that a hat steamer?
To shape hats.
Oh, that's right. That's what it is.
Okay. Let's see. Let's find a piece of leather we can stamp on here.
What's it called? 380?
32
maybe.
30 is 357. It's
This little one?
That's 32. Yeah. Yep. You know your guns. Yeah. 32 auto. And there's a collection of knives. These are it's my knife collection. The guy that made all these, he's now passed. He was from Joplin, and this was his advertising piece. And I've been trying to get every one of them. I made these sheaths, and I made the sheaths for him. When he'd sell a knife, I'd build the sheath for him.
And what does a sheath cost?
A sheath like this, these are right at $100 now.
But look at the workmanship. That's not all that much.
No,
You know, considering the time.
it's a lot of work, and you can see how good the edges are. The edges are slick.
And the stitching.
Everything's straight and true like it's supposed to be. All that's hand stamped.
Yep.
And the knife fits the sheath perfectly. And you can tell
It's perfectly made for it. How about
A lot
that?
of years of practice. I made hundreds of these knife sheaths, different
Well,
knife sheaths for guys.
There's a lot of, I like this too. Get your boot off.
Yeah. And I did not make that. I bought that.
I'll be darned.
I found it at a flea market. I knew the guys that made it, so I had to have it.
This is a leather tool here.
Yeah, I'll show you how they work. So this is your knife to cut your leather with. This is called a round knife because it's round.
That's your sharpener.
This is heavy skirting leather. They call it skirting leather because they build skirts of the saddles out of this kind of leather. Now, this leather is tanned in St. Louis.
And that's cowhide. Mm-hmm. And it's that.
This
thick.
is a neck.
Oh, the neck.
This is part of the neck. You can tell how thick it is.
That's what
It's
I
real
did.
stretchy towards the end here. But you can see how I cut that out.
Yeah, real easy.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're not careful, you cut the end of your thumb off. Which
saying
I did
that-
once.
I noticed how you slid that back in. With razor sharp.
Yeah, they're razor sharp. They'll also do this kind of work. Let's see.
Don't waste no leather. That's got to be expensive nowadays.
So they'll also do this. You might want to stand back.
Probably. Skiving.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I can see where you could. You don't want to drink and do that.
No. Sometimes 2 beers doesn't hurt.
You got to know your.
Sometimes it gives you a little steadier hand.
Yeah, anyway, a little bracer. You know?
You know what Clint Eastwood said? A man's got to know his limitations.
So here's a knife sheath I've been making. I just started on the other day. I should have had it done by now, but I've had company and all kinds of other things. So I still have to finish that edge for that edge to be like that.
You use that tool to do that.
And I'll
too?
give you a little demo. If you promise not to tell anybody.
I swear.
I'm kidding.
No.
So we'll finish this. Let's just finish this instead of doing any stamp work.
Okay.
So, got a little cheater. I don't know if it's a cheater. It's the best tool they ever made.
It's a Dremel.
I got a couple of those.
So we want to get that edge off. We're trying to get this thing
Smooth it down.
smoothed down, cleaned up. Just right here. Go out here. Just about. Okay. All right. So we got the edge fairly straight, pretty smooth. Let me feel about that. Make sure here that's good. Okay. Now we got to round it off.
See all that? You can see where you're getting a bargain for $100.
Yeah, probably so. You got to sharpen your edge tool.
Now, what's that you're sharpening it with?
This is just a piece of nylon string with jeweler's rouge on it.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to have very many fancy things. So that's made by C.S. Osborne out of New Jersey. It's a number 2 size. It's called a Bissonette Edger. That's
marking real good on there.
Yeah.
Let's see what it says here.
That's old from the turn of the 20th century. So we got all these rough edges on this. If you compare to, say, this, with everything smoothing around, we got to get everything smoothing around. Okay? So we'll start on the actual sheath piece, and we'll cut that off. Okay.
Let's see where you could get some hand surgery.
Yeah, this one's pretty safe. It's kind of a safety edger. Okay. But you can still run it into your hand. So we'll cut this off. And trim that back off. A lot of people that do leather work, this is the piece they miss. The finish work is absolutely what you gotta do. All right. Okay. Several more steps here. Okay. Not many guys doing this work, but surprisingly more than you'd think. Okay.
Well, you know, like you say, if you compare it to golf, it's cheap, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Show you the whole process. We're in it to win it now. Okay. Let's see here. Hold on just a minute. You're fine.
I can get out of the way.
You're good. You guys are good.
I'll be better over here on this chair.
Okay, we got to get a little moisture in it.
That's just water.
Yep. Just plain, pure. Jasper County Rural Public Rural Water. Okay, we got to get a little line in here. Just got to give it a little bit of dolling up. Okay, same back here.
And that doesn't seem to really take much off. It's just smoothing it out.
Well, I'm not even doing that yet. I'm just putting a little line in it. You can't really see the line that well, but you will when it's all done. Here's where the hard part comes in.
Finding what you need. That's my hard part. Where'd I leave it?
Oh, sorry.
What is that arm thing right there?
That's a buggy whip holder.
Okay. That just,
Is that what you thought it was?
No. I was trying to figure out.
I bought it out west this last summer.
That's neat.
So it would hang in the general store or the harness shop.
Oh, you're gonna make them rack. Probably gotta have a stand and stuff with it.
No,
Don't
it
you?
hangs from the ceiling.
Oh, it hangs from the ceiling.
Yeah.
You know, I'm learning stuff.
So we got a little bit of an edge finish. So see how rough that edge is? You can feel it. See how it looks?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And what's this you're putting on there?
Just an edge finish. You don't just put it on though. That's the part. That's the magic.
It's almost like glue or something.
Yeah. Here's the magic piece here in a minute. We'll let that sit like that for a minute or two. Put a few tools up.
Yeah, back where you're supposed to.
Let's put the tools up.
Then they'll be where you want them.
can sure get a lot of stuff out, can't you?
Yeah, it's very easy, and you just have to kind of remember where you keep everything. And a lot of muscle memory, really, when you think about it. Okay.
Look at all that stuff, Larry.
I was looking at it before. I said,
What?
man, oh man, that's what I was looking at, that brass. That's thought of old Rupert.
Yeah, there's some stirrups there.
Chaps.
Cinches. Those are actually called chinks because they're short.
Oh, they don't.
Chaps go down to your ankles.
Yeah, those are called chinks. The Spanish word is chingadero, which means to cut off.
Oh, they don't.
Yeah, they were popular. They started their popularity in California, Nevada, and Idaho. And not everybody in the country thinks they gotta
I thought it was.
be a wild buckaroo and wear those.
I thought it was when you wore your other ones out, you made the short ones out.
Yeah. Okay, so we see that. There's two things going on here. You're polishing it, but you're drying out the edge as well. Because you put all that goop on there, and we're trying to get it
All back on.
we're trying to get it smooth where it's like this one.
Add some color to it as well.
Yeah. Okay.
More handwork.
Lots of handwork, just in one little old knife sheath. Okay, we're about there. On that part.
Getting the shine.
It's all a feel and what you can hear. It's getting there. All that. All right. We'll let that kind of rest. We'll try to work on this end a little bit. It's not quite like I want. I want it how I want it. That's what I like to say.
It suits
It
me.
doesn't have to be perfect,
It's gotta
Gotta be how you want it.
but it better be pretty damn close or it's no good. Some guys would probably use a machine to smooth it out
Oh, yeah.
to make them really shiny, but I don't do that. It's probably why I don't do it for a living.
No, I can see where you can get over it. If people knew you was doing it, there'd be a lot of people talking to you about this kind of work.
Yeah. I've made 50 saddles since I was 20. Everybody, I always call myself a saddle maker, but really I've kind of changed that. I'm a leather artisan more than anything. This is more of a studio than it is a saddle shop.
Yeah.
It has a saddle shop feel, but I don't take any orders. And if somebody wants something, like this is a series of shaving kits, there's 10 of them there. In that 10, there might be one that's ordered, and the rest of them will be just for sale if somebody wants one.
Yeah, you walk in and say, yep.
If they hear I've got one. Okay, that's better. Not quite perfect. Okay.
But yeah, you want to keep it where I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't have to go do this if I don't want to.
I know. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. You can kind of hear it.
Yeah, I can see.
You can hear it as you get closer.
Felt like it's sticky when you change directions.
Okay, that's about there. That was pretty good. All right, I'm still not happy with that end. That end just doesn't look very good.
It's harder to get to than the flat part, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we got 3 layers of leather in it. Okay.
One more.
Never be satisfied. That's what my mentor that got me started in this 30 some years ago told me.
Well,
Don't ever be satisfied. Try to always make it better. And he was exactly right.
how old was he?
At that time,
Yeah.
he was probably 52 or 3.
You get 90, you gotta cut back on that.
Yeah, I think he's passed away now. He was in California.
I'll be darned. You get around it.
I've gone lots of places just because I like to. I'm kind of like a old hound dog with their head out the window.
Well, like I say, it's better I want to go. I like to do that instead of I gotta go.
Yeah.
Takes the edge off.
Okay.
But just going to the place you did, who the hell? That's quite a story about going to Montana and digging that wood up.
Oh yeah. Wow, that was just a chance deal.
Did you take any pictures of it?
Oh yeah.
Oh good.
Got videos.
Oh well.
A friend of mine owns this ranch out there, and we got talking about stagecoaches. He said there's a stagecoach stop up there. You know, he's pointing. He said go up there. We drive 5 miles up there.
Yeah, just right over there.
Yeah, we drive 5 miles up there, and there's some old cabins there. There's an old Finnish settlement where a bunch of Finlanders lived. They cut firewood for the mines, and they cut railroad ties. And then they'd ship them from there on in their wagons.
And that's all handwork.
And all that was left, well, so their cabins were there, and so my best friend and I, we were up there, and we're like, look at that over there. It looks like there's some corrals over there. So we went, there were some old wood corrals. And there was a wagon axle, great big wagon axle that was on the ground. So let's go down that hill because stuff washes downhill, you know. Shit doesn't go uphill, shit goes downhill. And so we went downhill, and then we looked uphill to see where it all came from. We went up to the hill, top of the hill, and there's this wagon laying there in the ground, covered up with brush, you know, trees growing all around it. So we went back and asked the owner if he'd sell it. He said, well, I'll sell it. I don't even know it's there. You can have it.
Yeah, there you go.
So we went back up with saws and shovels, and we took it apart, put it in the truck, and hauled it out of there.
Saved it.
Yeah. Okay, so it's pretty much where I want it. You can see it's smoother. It's not quite where I want it yet, but it's pretty close. Okay.
Nice.
So then the knife will go right in there.
Nice and snug.
Now this is the press here.
No, that's a saddle stand.
That's a what?
That.
Oh, that
Go
just
the
you.
saddle.
Oh, you can work on your saddle on that
Yeah, and see,
and put it at the height
you
you
got a
want.
jack in there out of an old Chevy pickup.
But did you make that?
The neighbor did. Yeah. So let's show you. You want to see the next process? Are you okay
Sure.
with
Go
that?
ahead. Sure.
Okay. Gotta get the blueberry pie filling. What it says anyway. People always say, "What's that blueberry pie filling?" Yep. Okay. You're gonna need it. You're good. You're fine.
Might as well say,
Says right on it, whole book.
just tell me to get
I know right where everything is. It's right here. Good deal.
I was in the Navy. I know how to get out of the way. And what happens if you don't?
That's why you were in the Navy. You wanted to stay out of the way,
Yep.
out of the line of fire.
Right.
My dad was in the Army. I wasn't ever in any of that stuff.
Well, be glad.
I'm tickled that there's men like you and my dad that did it. My dad was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody before him had been in the service since my great-great-grandfather was in the Civil War.
Which side?
We're in the South.
Well, I guess that answer.
Missouri State Guard, that's the South.
I'll be darned. That's neater. That's some really history there.
Yeah. He was a blacksmith and wagon maker.
I'll be damned. He had a hell of a job.
Yeah.
Keeping up with all those horses and all those wagons and all that. Jesus.
Okay, we're going to put some 100% pure neat's foot oil back in this.
Why they call it Eastfoot?
A neat, don't you know what a neat is? Come on now. Do you know what a neat is?
No, that's why I asked.
A neat is a cow. N-E-A-T. A neat is a cow. I got an old book somewhere over here.
Yep.
Shows that scientific, like a veterinary book.
Yep.
A neat is a cow. Okay. Try to get a little
Okay,
oil.
where's the oil come from out of the cow?
Out of their joints. And
Out of it.
whatever they boil down.
Okay, a little bit of everything.
But the pure, 100% pure is kind of oil I use here. You can see neat's foot compound and neat's foot prime. Well, all that has petroleum in it. So that doesn't work very good on leather. They say it does, but then everything you got smells like an old oil refinery. Okay, so we put pure neat's foot oil on it
And hand rub it
and then
in.
rub it in.
It's good for your hands too.
It is. It is. My mother used to use it on her hands. I'd give it to her. She thought it was great. Doesn't smell very good. But
No, I was gonna say, you've gotta get some of that.
it's not bad. Okay, so we got a fully basket stamped knife sheath, fold over knife sheath. It's not quite finished, but you can kind of get the idea. And when it's all done, it'll get a coat of leather lacquer on it to give it a little bit of protection.
Will it have a snap on it?
It'll have 2 snaps on it.
I just like that.
And it snaps right there.
Velcro wouldn't work probably.
Velcro does not work. Velcro is not made for leather.
It's not, I think.
It's not made out of a cow, is it?
No,
Made out of petroleum. I just been bashing petroleum, but I love it in my truck, so I'm not really bashing.
yeah, well, you,
Go down
Get
and
it out of the
buy.
country.
Run out of it. You go down and get some more right away.
Yeah, as long as we got it. Probably more of it in this country than anybody really knows. More on this planet than anybody knows. They all want to say, "Oh, we need windmills. We don't need coal." Oh, yeah, let's get started on that.
I don't like windmills. I don't like them.
They don't work. They're not even running now.
No, every time you go by them, there's 3 turning, the rest just sitting there.
Yeah. So you can just imagine a guy like me that you just met,
Yeah.
probably is extremely conservative politically and everything.
Yep.
I believe in all the old ways. I work in town, have a good job, and do fine, but I like the old ways.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, I'll modify my comment. I like the old windmill.
Yeah.
It wasn't pump water, it made a little bit.
That's
of
different.
publicity. Yep, that's a different deal.
Okay. Well, we've essentially got that made, but now I've got to let the oil soak in. That might be a day. So you just set it there, go to the next subject.
And all you have to do less is put the belt, the snap on.
Yeah.
A little bit of polish in here.
Maybe a little more polishing, you know. I gotta have this certain way. I like things just a certain way. So that knife was made in 1991. Here's a little comparison. This was one of the first knife sheaths I ever made, and I made it for this knife. And I recently found this on the internet and for sale in Joplin, and I bought it just to have the damn thing back because I didn't want anybody seeing my work. So that wasn't near the quality as what we're looking at today or what we're looking at here.
I think you've gotten a little better.
Oh, I think it was fancy.
Ripped a little bit. All the old ones that I've made that I don't like, they all go in the drawer right there. There you go.
Yeah, hidden.
They all get hidden out. So.
And like the Chinese, you have to deliberately flaw your work. And you just look to see if you can find it.
Well,
That's
now,
what I mean.
and I don't know how good of a close-up you can get on this knife sheath, but I don't know if you can see real close the middle of the stamps there. You see what's in the middle of that stamp? No,
What happened?
I don't know.
Run out of battery.
I don't know. You went away. Something. You moved. Where are we? Wait, let me
There you go. You see what's in the middle of the stamp?
This thing's having trouble focusing.
There you
on that. No, I really can't tell. What is it?
Set it down. So did
Not moving. Oh, there we go.
There you go. You might see it on the mud flap.
That's my mud flap girl.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Well, there
A
you
guy in Wyoming made that stamp. So.
That is neat. And then this is working fun. take it or leave it. Go and come back anytime you want to.
You can start, do a little bit of work and then quit.
Yes,
I wanted to see that stamp, even you're not going to
You want
stamp
me
anything. I want to show.
stamp some leather.
Well, I'd like to see how that thing works, or
Which stamp?
the way you use that big thing.
Oh,
you
that
just
takes too much to set up. Here, this
just show it to me anyway. Just tell me what it is. You don't have to set it up. Just show me what it is. There's the stamp, and what's it fit into?
It fits on the leather. It fits in this press.
Okay, this
And then
is the
that
press you
presses
use.
into the-
Okay.
into the leather.
Okay, yeah, it's good enough. That's all I needed to know. I really hadn't seen this piece
You're
here.
just pre-wetting that leather. That's what you're going to put the stamp in.
Yeah, you got to get that right.
It's no erasing. Kind of tough.
So we got to.
Is this Checkpoint Charlie?
What? What?
You're leaving American sector.
Oh yeah, somebody gave that to me.
Checkpoint Charlie, huh?
I guess that's what it is. And I had some
German?
friends that were Germans, and that's reprint, of course.
No, I have a friend who was stationed over there in West Berlin, right there. That's
Yeah, a friend of mine. His mom and dad, they escaped East Germany, or they escaped. I guess they left Germany. I guess after World War II. Another friend of mine, his folks escaped East Germany.
Our secretary at the Surface Mining Office here in Frontenac, she was a naturalized citizen. And
There's still an office there?
Yeah, the Surface Mining Office is still there.
Is it like a U.S. one, or?
Well,
I mean, how much surface mining goes on?
well, it's reclamation.
Oh, the reclamation work.
Doing
Yeah.
like back in the day, there was no stopping where you wanted to move your strip pit to. So a
Right.
lot of you, the ditch is a strip pit.
Right.
Now the law says you stay back. I think it's 60 or 100 feet.
Is there any coal mining going on north of Frontenac?
Nothing.
I thought there's no place up there.
Nothing. Not anymore. The last mine shut down when Mackie Clemens did.
And when was that?
Oh, gee. You would ask. Well, I know, but
I knew some guys, they used to say that they'd go, well, Dave used to buy coal up in that country to heat his shop.
they used to buy it right over here at Denham Coal on 69 Highway. One man operation. He ran the drag line. He ran it all.
It's not going anymore then.
No, he's been a long time. A memory.
That's probably what's wrong with the country. We should still be mining around.
Well, we shouldn't. We should be at least self-sufficient,
Yeah.
not rely on our enemies to sell us what we need.
Yeah. So that's kind of how you start that.
God Almighty, and you got to take a look, and all this is that hand stamped.
Yeah. That is all this stamp.
But it's right there. Okay,
So this stamp is stamped like this once, and then you got to remember to turn it.
and if you
You got to turn it.
if you don't,
Is it
You're
marked
gonna
on the
you're
top
gonna have an
there,
X, a cross in it instead of just a cross.
Does it have a mark in it so you know?
No.
You can tell from
You
this
gotta
which
remember.
way it is.
gotta
No,
remember.
you can tell from here which way it's pointed.
Yeah. You got to remember.
Oh, you got a bunch of them.
Oh yeah.
Got a whole collection of them.
Oh, I got a collection of crap.
remember Tandy Leather Company? They had the kits.
They're still going.
Are they? That's
Yeah.
what I was going to ask you. I remember I got one of their kits once, and it had some of that. It was interesting, but Jesus, there's a lot of work.
Here we go.
Now,
You got to hold that tight.
There you go.
Yeah.
and that's not just a hammer, is it?
No, that's not just a hammer. This is a maul. This was made by Barry King from Sheridan, Wyoming. That's just one of many styles. I got
And why is this better than a hammer?
because the hammer will mushroom the top of your tool.
Just mess it up forever.
It'll mushroom the top of that tool.
Okay.
Well, that wasn't going to work because that tool was $50.
And what's this? Just plastic, or what's that made of? The white part there.
It's some kind of plastic. Then it's weighted in the middle, and then it's all hand turned leather handle.
Can you take that off if you want to? I mean,
Oh, you wouldn't, but yeah. Well, David, you take
never
it,
wore
you send
one
it back
out.
to him, and he'll
gonna
if it's worn out, he'll redo it for you.
have you worn any out? That bad?
I've got about 6 of them.
I gotta say, you got a long way to go.
Yeah, I've got a lot of them.
Wow.
This is just what I do, guys.
That's just what you do.
This is just what I do. I made all this stuff here.
That'd be a good model.
Who is Marshall Hooker?
Marshall Hooker was from Webb City or Carthage.
Was that over at Red Oak too? They got those.
You got Marshall Hooker's cabin.
They got that cabin over there. That's right.
He was the first marshal of Silver Dollar City.
Okay.
He walked the Santa Fe Trail in the 50s,
Oh, Jesus.
carrying Daniel Boone's long gun.
Oh, man, that says a lot.
The old man did a lot. I knew him, and I found that over in Webb City, and it wasn't framed. I said, "Well, I gotta have that." And the guy said, "I said, how much would you take for it?" He said, "How about $15?"
If you're happy, I am.
I hauled him around the country. We did stuff. He lived to be about 100, I think.
You're one of the unknown gems in this world. I mean,
Well, thank you.
There's a lot of people do a lot of different things, and Dave's fortunate enough to seek them out and save this. You know, we're dead and gone.
So my wife, Amy Humble, her dad was Roy Humble. Did you know
Oh,
Roy?
yeah. Oh,
That's my father-in-law.
oh, you know.
So he drove his kids all the rodeo. That's them there.
Oh.
That's Amy on the left, on the barrel horse. It's Amy on the right, on the pole horse. Her brother Heath, her little brother Heath, he just turned 50. He's on the bull in the middle. Then her brother Kelly's on the left, on the bottom. Amy's on the bull in the middle, and her brother Royce is on the bottom on the right.
Colonel Roy, he sold used cars too.
Well, that wasn't.
That wasn't that humble.
Yeah, it was his granddad.
That
And
was
are
his
they
granddad.
related
I think so,
to
yeah.
Gene Humble? And
Yeah, weren't you married to one? Isn't that what you told
no,
me?
no. Well, I was married to a Humble.
Yeah, so
that's right. I married
yeah.
Shirley Humble.
Which
She
is
was
Roy's
a cousin,
cousin.
but she was a cousin of.
She'd be Roy's cousin, I'm sure.
So Marshall Hooker was. He was related to Humbles.
No. I am.
You are.
Those
Okay.
are the Humbles up there. Those are the Humble kids.
Oh, okay.
That's my wife there in the middle on the board.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
I got that part of
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a humble little.
That's why I record everything, so I can go back and figure out what.
They live on Weir Road.
Yeah.
They live out by Phil, next to Phil Smith over there. That's where my mother-in-law, that's where my father-in-law lived.
Well, I remember the one, I can't remember her name, lives on 400 Highway, right where you turn and go in.
That was Roy's granddad.
Okay.
And that corner is called Humble Corner because there used to be
Yeah,
a
it is.
school there, right?
Well, no.
They said there was a schoolhouse there.
No, that's out on 103 and 7.
Oh, 103 and 7 is what I'm talking about. Yeah, 400, I don't know what you're talking
Well,
about.
there's a Humble that lived there. It seemed like it was Ray Humble,
Probably.
but he sold used cars. Real nice guy.
Yeah.
And,
That was some relation, though. I know.
oh,
that.
it had a big.
Because Bud Humble at Gerard's my father-in-law's first cousin.
Oh, be darned.
You know, the auctioneer at Gerard's?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
cousins.
And so was this guy down the road. He was a,
Yeah.
but, oh man, he had a line up bullshit. I like this, listen to it, but it was a real sad deal. His son, he's about 6 years old, and he got a bicycle, and he was learning how to ride it, and he rode out on 400. It was 160 then.
Yeah.
And he went down this way a time or two, and his mother was standing there watching, and he rode down, and he didn't look when he turned, and there was a kid passing him.
Oh.
And
Really?
oh shit, I was coming down the road from the north. I was working for old John Castagno at the time. He had a milk route, picking the cans up. And that poor kid was like, I mean, his leg, they were twisted. And his mother, she was in shock.
Killed him?
And, oh,
Yeah,
shit, I mean, oh, what a mess. And that Humble, dude, I thought of that, and that's one of the memories I don't like to recall, but it was a sad deal.
Oh, man.
Jesus Christ.
It would be terrible.
But
Yeah, Amy had breast cancer, and we fought it for 2 years, and we thought we had it licked, and she passed away February 23rd.
damn, what class would she have been in?
88,
88. See,
from Southeast.
Southeast. I was out of Southeast, but it was in 63.
Yeah. You're a little
A
older.
little bit, yeah. She was.
Yeah, she has all of her classmates came to her funeral.
Oh, that's back in Southeast.
Chucky O'Malley was in her class.
I'll be digging.
Yeah.
Chucky. I went to high school with Rosemary and Jason and David.
So I'm from Missouri,
Okay, you're.
and I was raised west of Joplin. I went to high school in Joplin.
Okay.
But my family's been in Missouri for about 6 generations. I mean, long time. And when I met Amy, I was in my late 20s. So she's the only wife I ever had. And anyway, we just headed off. We had a lot of the same interests.
Yeah, that's I can see.
Yeah, now they're rodeos. That's different than what I do, but we had a lot of interest in the
Well,
horses.
you had someone with you that liked doing
Yeah.
what you did, and that's.
Oh yeah, she rode in the wagons. She liked all that.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
You know? Did you know old Carl Hansheet with the ponies?
Yes, I did.
I worked when I surface mining where he'd have the coal's real shallow, and I must have been at his house 25 times. Everything would fall in, but he got his health failed.
Yeah.
He was all messed up with his feet. That's another story, but he had to get rid of his ponies, and that killed him. He had all this stuff hanging in his barn.
He showed up here one time, and he had these big headphones on. They were some kind of newfangled hearing aid.
Oh yeah, he couldn't hear himself.
He tried all kinds of stuff.
He couldn't hear himself farting.
Did you work at P&M?
When I got out of the Navy, I worked on Brutus's electrician for 5 years when he shut.
And what
it
year
down.
was that? What year?
That was 69 when I got out till 74.
Yeah. Did you work with Cliff Rice? Cliff Rice was the ground engineer.
Well, I was on third shift, so I didn't get a lot of guys on days.
Yeah. And Paul Grant?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we bought horses for Paul
Oh,
Grant.
you
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a neat guy.
Yeah,
he was a
good guy.
good pit boss. Yeah, and,
Yeah.
but when they shut that turkey down,
They shut it down. That's it.
that was it. They
Yeah.
turned it around, took her up, and put her on top where they are now. There was a 1250 drag line there, just a little west of Mineral that sat there. But they took it. I think they took it to. I'm not sure where.
They moved it.
Yeah, they took it to.
Brutus was too big to move.
Yeah, and it sat there for. People, and this takes a lot. When it was sitting there over the years, there's a bunch of assholes got rubber tires, drug them up into that submission, and tried to set it on fire. Can you believe that?
Let's go back out and talk to Dave.
Yeah, he gets them.
Old Dave sitting out here by himself.
Hell, we can get together.
He probably napping.
A week or two, we might get tired of each other by telling the same story.
Well, that's part of the deal.
Yeah, but my memory's the point. I can hear them again. Sure glad you had us over. I really think this was neat. And your house really looks.
Was that better than watching the damn football game?
Any day of the week.
We know, yeah.
That's all right, man. It's all right.
Yeah. I don't
Oh,
even
look.
know what a football game is.
Oh, you even got a yoke for the
got an ox yoke?
yoke for the ox.
Yeah.
No, we need a couple
That
oxen.
came out of Iowa. Guy that gave that to me is an old veterinarian from Grove, and he said it was his parents or grandparents.
Wow, that's got that.
So all this stuff's got history. It's not just that I went to a flea market and bought a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I know.
It has nothing to do with that.
Oh hell! Don't you wish it had a little place where you could plug into it and
Yeah,
listen to
listen
the
to
stories it could tell?
Yeah, that came out of the Markley barn.
Okay,
That toolbox.
Hey,
it did.
get that wrench out of there. I'm gonna show them guys something they ain't never
I ain't
seen.
never seen.
There's a lot I ain't never seen.
You ever see a hook of left-handed monkey wrench?
I've heard the term.
You ever see the left-handed monkey wrench?
Well, I'm not sure. I've been told it was a left-handed monkey wrench. Uh-oh, it's gone. This place. It's in the bottom. It's always in the bottom. I'm gonna try this out. This is neat. I'm not that far away from you. Right.
That's part of pillbox.
Oh, you're living now.
No,
Yeah, you're in training.
Yeah, well, it don't, this got brakes, but there's no place to make it go. No foot feed, just brakes. Well, Dave.
Fireplace.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I could see where you guys could get out here and build a fire and bullshit until the next morning.
That's been known to happen.
I don't. It's here, Dave, but I can't see nothing.
Oh, well, it's black. It don't matter.
Here's something cool, man. Tell them about that.
That come out of the
That
coat
come out of the coach.
in the old boot.
Yeah,
Oh, hey,
really? What is
you
it?
got
What
it.
caliber? 45?
It's
been
it's a
fired.
Spencer.
Spencer. Oh shit. That's hell. That's a rimfire.
coach.
Well, that's a rimfire, man.
Here's the other one. In fact, we thought it had a hole in the back of it.
I'll be damned. This is 45 Colt. This has got to be.
It's a Spencer.
Yeah, but what caliber?
Spencer. It's not a 45 Colt.
No, I mean, but the
They got two
caliber.
of them here. One
Oh
is.
yeah.
The caliber.
We didn't know.
45, 70.
Something.
Well, that's a 45. Just a scope bigger than a 44.
There you go, Pat. Don't worry about it.
What's the matter, guy?
You all right?
Oh, I think I'll be all right. Ah,
Better sit down.
yeah, better sit down.
A little bit of everything in there.
Yeah.
What a deal.
I like your hat.
We got one deal over there we need to restore.
Oh, yeah?
It's got two cast iron end caps, about that big, two sections, by about 3. Each section is about 3 feet wide, and it had wood rubber. What would you use for?
Wouldn't have a clue. Oh, that's before my time.
It was used to pack snow in town.
Pack it?
You could get rid of it. Back in the, you could get rid of it.
It was cold enough. Ice is not slick if it's cold enough. If it's cold enough, you can get traction on ice. But if it's 28 degrees, you're going to slip.
Uh-oh. This don't look good. Bullshit's gonna pile up.
Yeah.
Where's the shovel?
Man,
The idea he's got, we're gonna drive this cartridge
before Scott. That's the plan.
That's the point.
Well, you ain't gonna get it done by sitting here.
No, well, we don't work on Sundays.
I'm
Or
gonna tell you
Mondays.
what, guys, as old as I am now,
You're just a kid.
we had some young kids come in the new pickup. They bragging all about it and all the girls and everything. I told them, I said, I'm gonna tell you what, I'll guarantee you I can get more girls than that out of
You're right there. I'll tell you what. You got pictures of this before you started. That's that's what you need to get some pictures of.
Well, we built the whole thing. We built everything, really.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. A pile of
And had a pile of stuff. Had a pile of stuff and some blueprints with no measurements. I mean, literally no measurements.
that would make a great picture. Have that and the stuff on it, and then say, "This is what this was."
Oh, he got those.
You got it on.
Kind of like old Downs there. He'd build the wheels on them things. He did wood carvings of trains. And he'd just look at a picture and do the wheel and then do everything to make it look right for the picture he had.
Over at the Corona Depot, there's
Yeah.
a museum there.
There's a museum in the depot.
Oh no, that's the depot's there. There's two depots. Matter of
Right.
fact, the Boston Depot,
Yeah, I know it's over there.
that's where it's at.
Yeah, because they moved it right through this country.
Yeah, I
Moved it,
know. Tilton and Son.
Yeah.
And well, we've got 3 museum buildings. And it's
So are you
all-
on that board too?
He's the president.
You're the president?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about it. Yeah.
I want to hear about it.
Well, I was
Yeah,
gonna-
Tilton's moved 2 houses for me. I know those guys.
Oh hell, they moved that steam locomotive
Yeah.
too.
Well, you got my card before. You know I'm on YouTube. Well, I just did a video last week of him talking all about the museum and everything.
Boy, and John did a super job on the gay parade, didn't he?
Oh gee, yeah.
I haven't been in it, but I've seen the
Oh, you got to
outside.
go in it. Dave documented it right on.
Okay. Yeah, John told me call him anytime and he'd take me around.
Oh yeah, do it.
Yeah.
You cannot believe what he started with and what he ended up with.
Yeah.
He did it right.
Because that old building would just look terrible
Oh.
forever.
He had, I don't know how many 2x12s, and they was about 20 to 24 feet long. He had them specially kit. And about a third of them on the south side was rotted and termited. And the termites got on the south side too. And he had to place, 25% of that hardwood floor. But they blended it in. It's worth going in a stage. When he bought what, 6 goddamn truckloads of books. He got a hell of a deal, but he got a hell of a lot better deal 3 years later at a rummage sale.
These guys, the books I bought were from that Haldeman Julius up in Girard. He had that Girard Press. They did that Call to Reason and Common Sense, and they did all sorts of publications. Well, they had those little blue books. You've heard of those? That's who made those. And I bought 5 pickup load of blue books because I didn't want to see them go in the dumpster.
Yeah.
And then Girard History Museum come down to my garage sale and took them back to the museum, and they're at the Girard Museum now, which is where they belong.
Is the museum in an old church?
It is. It is.
Well, I've never seen it open.
It's an old Methodist church. Well, it's regular hours during the week now.
Okay. Well, it's been a lot of years since I've been.
And I've got a video of it on my site too. It's the Girard History Museum.
Corona Depot is open 5 days a week. It's closed Monday and Tuesday, but from 9 to 4 thereabouts, there's a guy out there to show you around.
So you could see that and then go on to Big Bruce.
Right.
Yeah, but you want
That'd be kind of the deal. That'd be kind of a history.
Yeah,
lesson.
it'd be a history lesson, and it ain't that far.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot of stuff, and I mean a lot of neat stuff. But
Yeah.
it's railroad. I was going to ask you, but I was looking at the wheels. We've got an old baggage car, and I mean it's old, and it's got wooden wheels, and they need some TLC. I don't know if you could.
I can. Well, if I get this thing done, I've got to rebuild these for a guy.
Well, you ain't gonna live that long.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I got to rebuild these for a guy next.
Okay.
But once this thing gets done, then I can get back on my other project.
Well, they're not near that big.
I'd love to see
I
them.
know there's just as much work.
Yeah. So, this was tied to the railroad.
Really? Okay.
And if you think about it, this was tied to the railroad.
Yep, they got.
So they got the mail from the railroad, and then they took it, and then like between here and Carthage, but between Carthage and Fort Scott, I bet there's 5 or 10 little old places where there's post offices.
Yep.
So if the post office wasn't right on the road, like down here 2 miles was a town with a post office.
Yeah.
It's not even existing anymore.
That's pretty dog.
But they would have meet out. But there's another one over here where Joe Hager lives. There was another town over there. So everywhere there was a town, if it wasn't right by the road, there would have been a mail hook. There was a mail hook over here on David Cost's place at Costville. And then the guy came in the mail hack, which he's got a mail hack,
They pick it up.
and he'd pick it up and take it down there.
Oh.
So the railroads got the mail to a certain spot, and then these were connected with all that. These were all contract work.
It's amazing.
So I need to come over and see that.
Oh yeah. This guy that Dave was talking about, he started whittling on his locomotives,
Yeah.
and when he was 72, at the age of 6, he got scarlet fever and lost the sight of one eye. So he had no depth perception.
Yeah.
And this guy, he built his own organ. He taught himself how to, and he's an oil painter. And he lived out on the Santa Fe Trail out at Council Grove. I went out, and there's a wooden model of Brutus that he built that he donated to him. And
To Brutus.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen it over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get them to take the wooden locomotive collection. Now there's about 60 of them. And they said, no, we don't, that's not our line, but if you want to talk to the people down the road. And long story short, he got my number, I got his number. I went and seen what he had. He came down to see what we had. And him and his family delivered them all. And they're all in display cases.
He lived at Council Grove.
Council Grove. He had
Yeah.
a ranch out there.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna the National Stagecoach and Freight Wagon Association, which I'm a part of. We're having a wagon show at Council Grove next September.
Okay. Well, his wife, she was, like I said, he was 92 when he passed away, or 96. His wife, he preceded his wife 6 months because she died right after he did. So, you know. But she was the editor of the local paper. Real nice people. But like I said, he made the wheels first from a picture. And then he just made everything else fit.
Yeah.
His son lived in Colorado and got some kind of pretty easy, maybe aspen or something that's softer wood that's real easy to carve.
Right.
And it's a perfect example of railroad history and folk art.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, you'd appreciate it. And you're probably, Dad, bring the grouchy old bastard along.
Yeah. Well, you know, with this, I didn't know how long the wheelbase was supposed to be. I had no idea. But I measured the wagons and I measured the size of the coach, and dang if it wouldn't.
You've got it done. It's amazing to see. But, like I said, we went through that with the 1023 because it was moved into that park in 1956 and set outside until we got it in 2012.
Yeah.
Every window broken, the wood had fallen down out of the cab.
So you fixed all the. I noticed it's been painted, but I didn't know.
Oh yeah, everything inside. The wood's back. It's all painted.
It lost all the handles on the, all the
boiler's
stuff.
not rebuilt though, is it?
They put it away wet.
Yeah.
You'll probably never be able to steam it.
Yeah.
Because it was the last one in the line. They cut 90% of them up there in Pittsburgh shops when the steam engines was going out
I mean, they cut them up.
for scrap.
Yeah. So that was still running when they put it in the park.
Yeah, but they didn't. I think they put it in with an engine.
Yeah.
But they built track in there just especially for that.
But they put it up. They didn't let it. They didn't clean it out before they just shut it down.
They was going to be scrapped. Bus Johnson, who is Kay Lynn Webb's father, and you may.
And Webb's who has the railroad.
That's right.
Yeah.
And her husband, Dick Webb, he worked for the Kansas City Southern until he retired. Him and a couple of his buddies, they went into the short line business. They bought from Nevada to Coffeyville, the old mop through Pittsburgh, and they ran that. And from that point till now, they own, I think it's 55 railroads.
Ted Jones, Edward D. Jones Jr., he always identified as a farmer. He had a farm and he farmed, but he ran the brokerage business. But he fought against those same people he loved, the farmers, to get that right away for the state park, the Katy Trail State Park. It's the biggest, longest state park in the world.
I was afraid that was going to go to hell.
But when you think about how, in effect, he saved that.
Yeah.
But when I followed it, on Google Earth to Clinton, is about as far as I've followed it. But I always thought that this along 43 was part of the Katy, but that was part of the Missouri Pacific, I guess, wasn't it?
Missouri Pacific.
Because, it's all fenced now. Yeah. But still part of it goes across Prairie State Park. There's still tracks there.
Well, that's a mop. And we got pictures. When Webb got it, it was open. The state park, the buffalo roamed across the railroad tracks. And we've got a picture in the museum taken out of the cab of the locomotive. And they're stopped waiting on the buffalo to go across. Like you'd see 100 years ago.
So was the track closed when he took it over?
Yeah, well, they had a gate across it.
So, but Missouri Pacific had kind of
they just said, they didn't say nothing if you use it if you want to. But when they ended up, Watco bought it from, Nevada to Coffeyville. That's where it went right on through there. But
so all the grade's still there. So who owns the grade? Does the farmers own the grade now?
I don't know if they've abandoned it. There's a lot of ways that they do that.
Yeah.
It'll go back to the original, but a lot of times it'll just sit there in their name and they'll pay taxes on it. But knowing Watco, they probably let it go back.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough business between,
Yeah. You did it in the truck.
Yeah, a truck and the Union Pacific goes through there.
Yeah.
And it goes over there, so they interchange with them. But that soybean plant, and it just come online. They opened it, dedicated it, and they're supposed to run 2 unit trains a week through there, at least 2. They're going to start with 2, and that's 4 miles of train cars. And then they're supposed to get down to either 1 a day or 2 a day when they finally get everything going. And right north of there, they're building an ethanol plant, which was going to use the corn to make the alcohol like they got over there.
So that was the Union Pacific track then, I guess. The one ethanol plant that's up here? Or is that a Kansas City Southern track?
That's KCS.
Okay.
And yeah. And the old Katy, you know, hell, it still runs some Nevada across there. That rail's still in.
The one from Nevada across, that's the Katy?
Yep, that's Katy.
So the Katy came to Nevada and then went across over to Coffeyville,
and
Parsons.
they came in from another way too. The Katy, when you get, oh, it gets so. But